Welcome to Classic Car Cave. So I'm doing a bit of work on the track mini. We just changed the oil filter, and we're changing the oil now for this motorcycle 4-stroke. But I wanted to have a quick look while I was under the car at make sure that the high-lows hadn't come out of place or anything like that. So I got the opportunity now to show you how this system works. You can see there that we built tubes into the rear valance there on the back. So the idea is this hex bar is perfectly in line, and then it fits perfectly onto there. So in fact, what you can do is I can jack the suspension up and down either side from outside, and obviously on the front I'll show you the front bit. And the only problem is the only thing you have to make sure is that you undo the backing nuts and leave them off. And I was a bit concerned about that, about having those, because obviously you normally adjust the suspension and you will then tighten up the backing nut or security nut. But one of the guys that races Mini Miglias and Sevens and so on, he said no, they just don't turn, they don't come out because there's all the weight on suspension. Because I said, well, how do you get round opening them each time? You still got to get under the car. He said, no, just leave them slack. So so that's how it works. So when I take it down and put the oil in it, I'll show you the front bit. Excuse me with the light. Going on to the front then, this is the front suspension, and you can see that what we did was, you can see how that's in there. And then all we did was hang on. Oh, come on, you bugger. There you go. So we just drilled a hole drilled in it and then machined and tapered. But obviously you want to take off the least amount you can, just enough for the hex bar. But everybody knows how massive them bolts are. They're well over engineered. There we are. So what we're doing now is put the oil in it now. I've put hang on. Excuse me a minute. I've put 4 litres in it. So just let it drain down, because it takes a bit of a while to get through that cylinder head, and then we'll get it started up, check for any leaks, put the front on, and I think next week we're going to go to PS and test it out, see everything's good. And the pedal, I just wanted to show you the pedal. I don't know if I've shown this since. We had an issue where we didn't have full throttle, so that's there as a kind of racing pedal. You can see how it's round there, and it was completely round, so it came down this way here. And what was happening was the pedal was actually hitting the floor, it was actually hitting the toe board, and we never noticed until we checked the lap times at Pannonia Ring and found out the car was only doing 85 miles an hour. And obviously with a 1310 with a high lift cam and all the racing clutch and lightweight balanced crankshaft and all the rest of it, it should be able to do at least 110, so 170 kilometers an hour, and we were only getting 147. Should be able to do at least 170, 180 kilometers, that is. So that was the thing. We just cut it and then made that pedal up out of a piece of checker plate we had. So what I actually did was I got back, I took out the dashboard, took the cover off the Weber, put my foot on the throttle to the floor, and I could see that the butterfly was only 2/3 open. So, and obviously the engine was in a road Mini in the UK when we took it to the rolling road, so of course the throttle was not an issue. It wasn't until we put this racing pedal box in with a bias in it there was an issue. So something to look out for. There you go. I had to change the oil filter. Luckily enough, I thought I had 4, but the Mini, they're actually Jaguar ones. They look very similar, but the diameter's much bigger, and obviously on a Mini they've got to be a certain diameter, otherwise they hit the block. And I had this, but this is more for taking off the threads on plastic U-tubes, on a U-pipe, on a U-bend under a sink, and there's just not enough grip on it to get hold of this. So while I was down there, I got a new oil filter, and I bought this for €9. It's just a clamp to go around to take the filter off. They should only really be on hand tight, they don't need to be over tightened. In fact, you can actually get them to leak if you over tighten them. But I thought for €9, it's not a bad little tool. It's from Stoll, SW Stoll. So that'll come in handy for all the other services. Okay, so I've got it all back together, front's all back on. Checked it, the oil pressure's no leaks, so I'll give it another start up and see how she goes. So what we've got here, there's the oil pressure, is the wet oil pressure gauge. So what we've got is a isolator here. Put the ignition on, fuel, and start. That's not bad, that's nearly 70. Right, it's cold, the oil's cold, so it's thicker, it's more viscous. But there we go, and that's the setup of the dash. The next thing we're going to go for now is a shift light on here, which we'll have put onto the RPM gauge to get the maximum RPM for each shift. And that's, if you're not familiar with my channel, this is how we've done the short shift. This is a KD short shift, but we basically built our own internal. It's the original mini one, but obviously that's normally goes under the car, but we put it on top and then put this joint in it and then another joint near the gearbox, and that's how we've got it sorted out. So next thing is take it out for a test and see how it goes. And so it's just a quick update on the mini, full of dust and shit. So yeah, we'll take it out to PS Racing, give it a test before we go on a long track like Pannonia Ring. So on that note, stay safe, keep the faith, enjoy your hobby, and yeah, just get out and do something. Take care, bye.